Hey, now I'm going to do my bee names. And my first bee name for a girl is Brielle. Brielle is my number one choice, and if I ever have a daughter, my first daughter's name will be Brielle. Brielle was actually a name that I thought I made up. I had never heard it before, and then just recently I kind of started hearing it all over the place. But, well. Next is Bristolyn. Bristolyn is one of those, again, those names that are kind of combined. Brista and Lynn. Lynn is kind of a family name. With my bee names, there is a lot of Lynns attached. Not a fan of Lynn separately, not a fan of Brista separately, but I like with Anna Rose, but I do like Bristolyn. Next is Brinalyn. And Brinalyn is very similar to Bristolyn in the aspect of where I chose it. I think it's very pretty, it's interesting, it's unique, it's not a name you hear a lot. And then you have Braylon. I told you a lot of Lynn's. Not necessarily because it's a family name, but just because it goes with the name. Bray by itself is more of a masculine name, but Braylon, I think, sounds more feminine. Then you have Berlin, and Berlin is a place name. There's Berlin, Germany. Never been there, but I think Berlin's an interesting exotic name, and I think it'd be cool to have your name be Berlin. Then there's Brandolin. Brandolin, the problem I have with the naming a child Brandolin is it's very close sounding to the name Brandon, and so not only is it close to the masculine name of Brandon, my brother's name is Brandon, so that would probably be a nix on that one. Then I have Bianca. Bianca, I think, is a name that I started liking just because it sounds kind of exotic. It's like a kind of like a mystery girl, exotic mystery girl. Not in a bad way though. Then you have Blanca. Blanca is kind of the similar reasons of why I like Bianca. It's just there's a k sound at the end of it. But it sounds kind of like that mystery exotic, but not in like a bad way. We have Barbara. Barbara is an old classic, never out of style name. I had a really good childhood friend named Barbara. Barbara is also the name of my step-grandmother, and so that would probably put a nix on naming a child Barbara. Then you have Brooke. Brooke I actually like better than Brooklyn. So that's a B name that could end with a Lynn that I am not a fan of. In that aspect, I do like Brooke better. And I also had a friend named Brooke. Sweet girl. Then there's Bridget. Bridget is one of those like Bridget, Bethany, Brittany kind of names that are somewhat popular. And of those three, and then the kind of like the Valley Girl names. And of those three, I like Bridget better. Then you have Brandis. Brandis is a name I thought was unusual. Kind of like Brandolin, it is close to Brandon, which, again, I have a brother by that name. Then there's Bryn. Bryn is, could be short for Brenna or Brinolin, but by itself, it's also very pretty. You have Brita, kind of like Brita water, but different because it's spelled differently. I just think it's cute. I was thinking maybe Britain for your name, but Britain sounds more masculine. I liked the name Britain, but it does sound more masculine, so I'd feel short to Brita. It's also a name that I've liked for a while. And then there's Briley. And the reason I wouldn't use Briley, even though I do like the name Briley, is I have a nephew whose name is Riley, so that'd be confusing, Briley and Riley. For boys, my first bee name is Brintley, and that is actually my favorite bee name for a boy. Didn't used to be the case, but it is now. And there's Benton. The more, I guess, familiar name for that would probably be Benson. Benson, there was also an LDS prophet who had the last name of Benson, Ezra Taft Benson, but I like Benton better. Then you have Benjamin, which actually once upon a time ago was my number 1B name for a boy. As I mentioned in my A video, when I was little, I wanted a son named either Alexander Benjamin or Benjamin Alexander. So, but I still like the name Benjamin, even though it's not my number 1 pick for the letter B or for my first son. Not that I make his name into Benjamin, though he'd probably go by Ben, and I actually like Benjamin better. There's also the figure skater Benjamin Augusto, and a lot of people, I do refer to him as Ben when I pair him with his ice dancing partner. I don't call him Ben Augusto separately when I'm using his name just as him as a separate person, but adding him with his ice dancing partner Tanith Belbin, I do call them Tanith and Ben, but I just say Tanith and Ben. If I were to say them individually, I would say Tanith Belbin and Benjamin Augusto. So I kind of use the both Benjamin and Ben on that one. Next is Bradley. Bradley is a name that I started liking from Home Improvement, actually. The oldest son on Home Improvement's name is Bradley, but he goes by Brad. Then we have Brett. Brett is a name that is old-fashioned-ish. I think it was more popular probably in the 70s or 80s. Maybe even the 50s. Don't know the population of that one. Then there's Belton. Belton is actually a name I just heard again today, and I thought it sounded interesting. With a bell, you don't really think male, but you add a 10 to it, and it has more of that masculine feel. Belton. Then you have Bevan. Bevan, I knew a guy with the last name of Bevins, but I think Bevan is interesting as a first name. Then you have Blake. Blake is a name that I've liked for a while. In 6th grade, I had a crush on a guy named Blake. Lost contact with that guy a long time ago, so I'm okay with using the name Blake. Bodhi, spelled B-O-D-I-H-I. I do like the name Bodhi. I think it sounds kind of interesting and exotic and exciting. I would probably put it next to it because one of my really good friends, her last name is Bodhi. And there's Boyd. With Boyd, I was kind of almost with Boyce, but Boyce is really close to Royce, and I have an Uncle Royce, so I went with Boyd. Because I liked both Boyd and Boyce, but Boyce is too close to a family name. Then we have Boston. Boston, again, is a place name, Boston, Massachusetts. I used to think that I would like to name a daughter Boston with the name Boston Diane, but Boston is more masculine sounding. So if I were to use the name Boston, I would use it on a boy. Then we have Brian. Brian is, I knew several Brians growing up, but I associate the name Brian more with the figure skater Brian Boitano. And I am a huge fan of Brian Boitano. And like I said with my A videos, I am totally okay naming a child and with the association in my brain, or people who know me in their brain, of a celebrity or a historical figure or a fictitious character. But I'm a huge fan of figure skating, and Brian Boitano is one of my favorite skaters. Then we have Bridger. Bridger, along with the next name Brenner. If I were to have like twin boys and decided to name them both with a B, I'd probably name them Bridger and Brenner, just because I think those two names are just really, really cute. Brenner also is the last name of actor Yul Brynner. And then last but not least is Bracken. Bracken, I think, is also the name of an actor, but I don't know, not 100% sure. But Bracken, I just think is a cool sounding name. Like, he'd be popular and cool in school. I don't know. Anyway, those are my bees. Alright, see you next time.